Okay, I am trying so hard to make Cathee burp, and every time I do, Peter won't film it. This is Flynn Kennedy. I am a young teen. I am a friend of Cathee's. I've been for a while now. And this is my first broadcast to your worlds, and I think it's kind of exciting. I am a studier of broadcasting on the parallel world I am on now. If you've been watching Cathee's work, you know that there are basically three major parallel worlds she's working with. One is, well, I mean, I know that as we look out in the camera here, which is kind of interesting, I see a number of parallel worlds out there that she's working with here. And then I was on the famous one that almost did self-destruct, basically, if someone hadn't stopped the process. And I leapt to the other parallel world she's working with, which you've probably seen, or you should look at, videos by Jonathan Malamata about their parallel world, which is very close to nature and hopefully is not going to self-destruct anytime soon. They have very healthy, green, sustainable technology, and they aren't into war. They don't have war. So they're going to last a while, I think. So I think it was a good place for me to leap, quote unquote leap, which is a process of being translated, transplanted, that nature beings called the leapers can do. I'll let other videos give you that background a little more if you want it. But what I want to talk about is how cool their culture is. Again, I came from a world that's very similar to probably to the worlds of the people I'm looking at there. And you know, we had a lot of cameras, and I think we had more virtual reality machine kind of stuff than you guys do. You know, where you go to the Hawaiian party and there's a big hologram in the room, and you hear the Hawaiian music, and you hear the waves, and everybody's you look around, you see, you know, palm trees and stuff. And anyway, I think we were a little bit actually farther than most of your worlds are in terms of the really unhealthy, really cool tech. But it was pretty amazing, you know. I mean, like, you know, when cell phones came out and you could talk to anybody anywhere, and now I think that is so antiquated compared to what I'm doing now. On Jonathan's world, everyone is telepathically connected. There, I got a burp finally. And it's, I've been thinking about this a lot. People there live in communes, and they call them pods. And a lot of times a commune, which maybe consists of like 30 to 50 people in our mountain area, in this towns and out on the plains, you know, some of them get pretty big, where you eat in common and live in your own little house, separate from the eating space, generally speaking. And you know, so our little homes are basically bedrooms, and there's a lot of common space and common baths and stuff at the pod. And the pod I live at now with my mom is for people who do a lot of broadcasting. I mean, it's not for them, but that's the kind of families that have been drawn to our pod. And I was excited when we joined that commune, because I've always been very interested in film and in radio. My dad has done a lot of broadcasting, and I've been photographed a lot before I leapt over here. And what they have is just so amazing. I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. But if you take, if you can imagine a whole country where if you want to know something, you don't search for it on the computer. You don't go in and search the keywords. You just think about what you want to know about. And if you want to know gossip, you don't go to the tabloids. And the tabloids, I can't say really that there's less gossip here. I can't say that there's less interest in rumors and in following celebrity private, violating celebrity privacy in our own way here. But all you have to do is tune into the conversations of what someone is discussing somewhere. And it's like, okay, people here usually don't spend as much time in the left brain. They don't read newspapers. They don't have newspapers. I've heard estimates that about 10% of the people here are illiterate. So you don't really have books around that much, except for the people that are learning to read and write. But you don't need them because the books are telepathic. It's like the difference between physical books and the internet on your parallels. The difference here between physical books and telepathic broadcasts. So when Cathee first started tuning into this culture here, she started thinking thoughts about some events that were happening, and has found that pretty soon everybody is listening who's interested in that topic. But what she didn't know until I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and this is why I kind of wanted to do this broadcast and tell you about it, is what broadcasts are really like. She was stumbling into, she's done several broadcasts now, where, you just start talking to somebody, and if you feel really strongly about it, and if you have information that a lot of people want to know about, pretty soon you can kind of feel there's somebody listening out there. And then you kind of feel more that there's people listening, and then, you kind of almost automatically start to put energy into it and be careful what you say. And then before you know it, people are asking questions and you're conversing with them. Now, in this pod I'm at now, which is really cool, we take people that have information. They come to us and they say, now I know that I am broadcasting, like even say you have a project going, you're starting a new farm, garden venture, and you're hoping to attract a bunch of new people to start a commune there who want to work on that. And of course, everything here is organic, and everything here is talking to the plants that you're growing and everything. But say there's something kind of special about it. Let's say you want this garden to be, and community is going to be combining people from our parallel world and their parallel world. Okay, so somebody from their parallel world, a native, comes and says, I've been kind of talking among ourselves here, and people are hearing all my thoughts, and I think there's a certain spin I want to put on this, and a certain amount of information I want to put on this to spread the word. So it's almost like they come to us to be advertising executives for them. And what's really fascinating is, they already know what they want to say. And what they're going to do is they're going to put that broadcast just out into mass consciousness, so that anybody who's kind of thinking about, I'd kind of like to join a commune that's doing gardening, of a certain kind. You know, it's like everybody who's kind of thinking about that will be able to tune into this. And it's just automatic. You know, it's, you don't have to search for it. You don't need a computer. And I kind of think on your parallels, the computer is, it may be a little superfluous, or it may be the way that the universe does bring to, you know, to you what you want to know. It's not bad, but I'm really enjoying learning how you hear. You sit with the person, okay, who's wanting you to help them, and you look them in the eye, and you go in, and I kid you not, you start gathering information from their experience, from their brain. You start feeling into their energy field about why they're excited about this idea, this venture, who all is involved in it. You can kind of hear, you know, we look at people's auras all the time. You really, when you look at somebody, I think we're a little bit higher dimensional parallel world. So when I look like at Peter there behind the, you know, if I was looking at him behind the camera there, I would see his aura as much as I would see his body. And his aura may look like a teenager, my age, you know, youthful, fun, and even though his body looks like a, you know, a really old guy. And anyway, so we look at the person's aura, we look into their eyes, and we look into what brings them joy. It's kind of like in the aura, you can see who people love and what they're thinking about. You look into their eyes and you can see what's deepest in their heart. It's a different quality. It's kind of like their soul purpose, more, is what you see as you look there. So we get those two things. Then we bring in other people who know this person and maybe who are going to be involved in this. And we see, okay, so you're sitting in this room. Let's say Peter is starting the commune, the guy behind the camera here, and his friend Maria is considering joining this community, and she's wanting to know about it. Okay, so now I've got Maria here and Peter, and Maria is asking Peter questions, and we've got one person from our pod, you know, our advertising executives, looking at Maria. Another person watching Peter. And if I'm watching Maria, then I'm watching her ask Peter questions, and I'm watching her perception of Peter's answers. The other person is watching Peter give the answers and getting a feel for whether he is accessing, you know, what to say from the deepest part of his heart, whether he is bringing all of his experiences that are relevant into his answer, and whether the energies of the people that are in his aura, because the people he loves, like his family, how they're interacting with this project. And you can tell by looking if his sister is really in support of it or not, or if he has some kind of opposition within his own family and friends, or just kind of how he is with this project in his community, in his family. And then so someone else is watching Maria and watching Maria's aura, how she is receiving what Peter's saying to her about the project. Then we take that information of our observations and we compare. If I was watching Peter and someone else was watching Maria, what did I see? What did they see? Did the energy of the project get communicated in such a way that Maria saw what Peter thought he was sending? And was Peter really sending what he really feels about it. And are there blocks in Peter that prevent him from really saying what he feels about this project in such a powerful way that, is big enough that if anybody out there is wanting to join his commune, they'll find it. Okay, so we have that basic, let's say there's quite a bit of difference between those different levels of what they're doing or, experiencing. So we'll then, I mean, this is very strange, but then we'll take Peter into a room with a nice soft mattress kind of thing. And, I mean, they don't have like bed spring kind of things here. It's more like futons or bear rugs. They have a lot of bear rugs around, skins. But anyway, we'll have him lie down, Peter lie down, let's say on a futon. And we'll start, if there seems to be a problem that what he's feeling about his project, but what he's really communicating and how Maria was perceiving it, if those are kind of different and there seem to be some blocks, then we'll take Peter and lay him down and we'll start rubbing or stimulating with crystals certain areas, usually starting with the feet. And sometimes we'll have several people working on him as he's laying there on certain, it's like, okay, we'll say, okay, start talking about the project again. And these people will start looking for the blocks in how the energy isn't flowing through his body, in his aura, as he talks about it. And we'll start doing some healing work to put light and certain kinds of focused energy that are based on our intentions for him and his happiness. Basically healing energy. I'll start working out the blocks in his aura and in his body. And then we'll have him talk about the project some more. And we'll let's see if there's other blocks where the energy isn't flowing through his body very well as he talks about the project. Okay, so there we are, all kind of kneading him like a bread dough, and so we get it then, so that Peter's energy as he talks about the project is lined up. If we have to, we'll bring in some of say his sister doesn't like his project and thinks he shouldn't do it. Then it's considered really necessary, because she's close to him, to not just say, well, ignore your sister and do it anyway, but since it's a telepathic society, we know we call up his sister, so to speak, and we start talking to her about this project, and we start seeing, well, why don't you like this? And is this a common problem between you and Peter that you don't agree on, you don't support him on his projects, or what's the problem here? And so sometimes we will talk to the sister for hours and hours, and have them talking to each other. And as that conversation unfolds, if we start to be able to heal some of the relationship issues between them, or whatever the problem was, then we have Peter lie down again, and we'll have him talk about the project and see if that block is gone of his sister not liking it, and then we'll talk to her some more if we have to, until we really get a clear flow of information, of energy through his aura when he's talking about this. And then we'll bring Maria in again. And I mean, Maria could just be a person in our pod who's helping out in this way. And we'll have him talk again about his project. And it's remarkable, the difference in people. After you've done just that much, you see the glow in their aura as they talk about it. You see it come from a deep place. You see it connecting with their whole life experience up to that point. And usually by then they've talked about the project enough that they're really clarifying why they want to do it and what they find exciting about it. So you have him then talk and tell Maria about the project again. And then and again we watch Maria too and see how she's experiencing it. And that's remarkable too, just to see. It's kind of like after a while when you've watched a lot of people listen and you're watching their aura, you can kind of see how receptive they are to an idea. You can see how easy it is for Maria to connect with Peter. And whether now Peter is so wide open and totally 100% sending out his feelers for people who want to join his commune, say. He's, and if he is at that point of wide open broadcasting, where he's 100% lined up with himself even, then you'll look at Maria and she won't be able to take her attention off of him. She'll be mesmerized. She'll be, and she may, it's partly because, he's offering something she may be interested in, but it's also because there's something really beautiful about someone fully giving themselves into something they love and exuding their enthusiasm about it. I mean, whatever it is, it's just fascinating, I think. And it makes me realize how most people, even there, that especially on my old parallel world, hardly ever let themselves be 100% excited about what they're excited about. And, excited about life that way. It doesn't really even matter what it is, the specific project. It's just fun to see someone really into their life and doing what they want to do and wanting to put that out to the world energetically. And then, attract back the kind of attention they're asking for. And so, we'll watch Maria, but we'll also watch ourselves like, wow, who is this person? And how exciting this commune sounds, and so, okay. So then that's that process. We've got him all opened up. Now we take him into a chamber, a special room. It's more than a room. It's kind of like a size of a treehouse or a fort or something. A special little room that is built with sacred geometry of a certain kind, and we have several of these little cabin things that are built with different numbers of walls. So, in some you're in a room with 4 walls that's square, but in other rooms, it may be a five walled space, pentagonal, I guess you'd call it, or it may be a 7 walled space or whatever. And the people in my pod have it worked out now. It's more than just the number of walls. It's the slope of the roof. Or, if it's a flat roof, the type of building materials, the crystals, if there are crystals, or other kinds of materials, like if you put something like this in certain areas of the room, it would have a huge effect. But and actually this is a cut one. They wouldn't use a cut one probably. Like these. If you have them placed at certain places in the angles of the room, they would be extremely powerful. Especially if the angles of your crystals are, the same kinds of angles, like a 30-degree angle or whatever. They could be placed just right. But there's more factors, the things that probably you use on your culture too, certain colors and what you would call smells, but they call, essential oils, is bringing in the spirits of the plants and the spirits of the minerals. And so what we're trying to do when we do this is we are trying to bring Peter now into a kind of structure that is similar to his own energy. In other words, he would bring in his allies in his own way, his animal allies, his plant allies, his insect allies or mineral allies, whatever. We would, but also it's really a reading his aura in a way I don't know how to explain, but you just kind of know instinctively which of our huts he should go to and what we need to bring in, even if it's plants or, he could tell us who his closest allies are, but it's also kind of what we read that he needs around him to even more supercharge his unique energy signature. So when you're in a room, and people here, they build their houses that way anyway. Everybody's house is totally different than everybody else's, and it's really fine-tuned to reflect that person's energy field and to support it. But we're going to kind of supercharge it now, where we are. So in other words, Peter would already probably have a lot of knowledge of himself and how to build a space around him that and he might have even brought some things with him to put in the hut with him. Okay, so now we've got Peter in the hut, and the hut is holding his energy, and it is supporting his energy in a way that it is being focused. And because, we all have a lot of changes in how we feel during a day or during a week or from year to year. And so most of us are pretty diffuse, I think. We have a basic energy signature, but that can really change quite a bit. And so it's a little bit diffuse and malleable for most of us on a given day. But what we're going to do now with Peter is we're going to kind of reinforce how his energy field feels when he's talking about his commune, okay, that he wants to start. So we will take that energy of how his, you might say how his aura looks when he is talking about this, and how he feels to be around, how it feels to be around him, and what that looks like. And everybody here is very telepathic and sees auras, and I actually did before I came here, but I was kind of unusual of people who immigrants who came here. So I've really delighted in this. It's been great to have other people around who see this, but they see so much more than I do. But I'm coming along quickly. So now we're going to solidify Peter's energy as he is feeling in relationship to his project that he wants to put the energy of out into the world. And solidify it in an external structure. I don't know a better word than solidify, but let it take form. That's like a way of letting something that's higher dimensional, the aura. You start with an idea, the idea of Peter starting the commune, and then you let it we've let it fill out his aura and his energy field, and so it's become more physical that way. And now we're kind of letting that idea come out into real physical form more, in conjunction with his, the plants and animals and minerals or whatever that resonate with it. And we place those very carefully within the structure. Okay, now we are ready to open the pathways of, I call it mass consciousness, in their language, which sounds like ancient Gaelic or something, because a lot of their ancestors came from Ireland way back, even though they're here in Colorado in the U.S. But anyway, they've got their own vocabulary for opening the gateways of the realm, the mental realm of the whole people. I think I would translate it something like that: opening the gateways to the mental realm of the whole people. And so now we are, and this is, I'm not sure I should even talk about this. I think this is our pod trade secret of how we do that. Maybe I won't talk about that particular ceremony here, because you may leap to my parallel world and say, "Oh, Flynn did that on a YouTube video," and then people might not like that. But anyway, you can imagine. Okay, so we open the gateways to mass consciousness. And it's not that it's a real competitive place where you don't say your trade secrets, but there's a power in a tradition that you keep pure. If only your commune is doing a certain ritual, say, I don't know if I would call what we do a ritual or not, but kind of like that. You can keep it pure if you're the only ones doing it and you do it very mindfully and consciously. If you tell other people how to do it, like a do-it-yourself book, and then other people start messing with it, and they may not have a real pure intention with it, and they may start changing little bits of it, and they may, it kind of gets wobbly, and it doesn't carry the power. That's it. It's not like corporate espionage or something. It's just you want your community's energy. In this case, this ritual was developed by this pod and reinforced by these particular people that live in this particular place. Always, the land you're on matters hugely. And anything you do, you always bring in the land, because we are a part of the land. I mean, we tend to eat the food off the land, and so the land is really a part of our body, and we shit out on the land, and the land, that's part of the land, and it's very powerful connection. Okay, so now there is generally a very auspicious moment for Peter to do his broadcast. That has to do with what you would call astronomy and astrology, probably. It also, though, has to do with the particular plants and animals, his allies, what their habits are. Say he's very close to owl. Well, he's going to do it at night. He's going to send his broadcast at night. It doesn't matter if people are awake or asleep when they receive this broadcast. In fact, if they're asleep, they may even get it stronger. People here tend to, when they're sleeping, do a lot of work in their sleep, have a very conscious sleep experience. They do a lot in their sleep. They remember their dreams, of course. And anyway, so we find the auspicious time. And then we bring the whole pod together, whatever time of day it is or night. And we sit around, if usually outside the hut, surrounding it, and we start humming. And we are already, everybody has had a sample of, has observed Peter's core intention and what that looks like energetically. And so we start humming and humming and humming. And within this hut, Peter is broadcasting his intention. And then we start watching, telepathically watching the responses to know if we did a good job here. And it is so cool. It is so cool. You just feel this wave of energy. I mean, like, it's going to be different how big the wave is, partly of whether the topic is of interest to a whole lot of people, or if there's just a few people that are resonating with it. How many people are looking for a commune at that point that's like his, But some topics, it's just, the response and the resonation, and the energy just feels luscious. It just feels like people are connecting and in love with each other, Peter and the whole world. And so then we know that if Peter has gone through this whole process with us and broadcast that out to the greater community, which can go clear around the world, if it's appropriate, around the earth, then we know not only did his broadcast get out, but whatever that project is he's broadcasting about is already taking form. It's already pulling together. And if we do it right, it's just miraculous how, the right people just show up. I mean, like sometimes the next day, and they start building the commune, and the right seeds come to them, and the right tools, and the right shelters to build, and it's just bam, bam, bam. It's almost like you've got it set as energy, and that starts coming into form really fast. But so this is partly why I think your people might be interested in this, because I know a lot of you all are very interested in manifestation and how to create something in your life that you really want. And I was aware of this before I leapt over here. What do you do? How do you bring it an idea into form in a very powerful way? I have just been amazed here at how the process works and how much fun it is. It's how much fun it is. I think a lot of people there, or at least in my world, would sit with their little book, on manifestation and do little writing exercises and burn a candle or, whatever like that, but kind of alone. And I think actually part of the power of what we do is because people here really feel loved, and they have a root belief that what they really feel called and led to do is going to benefit everybody. It's not like, well, I'm going to manifest money and that'll take money away from somebody else, or you've got to compete. They really feel that, I think they feel that the universe will support them in what they do, but they just want to have fun with the process and speed it up and make it super beautiful and have it just be a joy to everybody who joins into the process. And so people love to help each other with their processes, and we generally restrict it to the pod who's humming there outside the hut. A lot of times sitting on the ground, kind of around it. But we broadcast very far. Okay, tonight we're going to do Peter's broadcast at a certain time. If you want to help energize it. you know, help us energize it. And people do, you can feel telepathically other people, just that support coming in, kind of like a prayer chain or something. And you know, especially people that know and love Peter will say, okay, we'll help him, because it's so fun, you know, and it just feels so good. It tingles, it feels great. So that's broadcasting on Flynn's Parallel. And now I am broadcasting to you all. And did I do this process? No, I didn't. I didn't know Cathee was going to channel me. I told her I wanted her to channel me. I didn't know she was going to do it today. And so I didn't do all that ahead of time. But I will. If this broadcast does not reach people, and if there's not a good response to it, then obviously I needed to do the process described herein. So we'll see how this goes. But I'll warn you that next time I come and speak through Cathee, it's going to be powerful if I do the process. And I'm just saying, get ready. Get ready. Anyway, this is really fun. Thanks for your attention. And she does this. I don't do this. Take care.